Welcome back, everybody. I got one more game cooking for you as FlyQuest and 100 Thieves. Just one today. 5 more tomorrow, but today we got one as FlyQuest and 100 Thieves prepare to duke it out. Jumping right into those rosters. On the blue side is 100 Thieves with Someday in the top lane, Anda in the jungle, Saligo at mid, Bang and Afro Move bottom lane and support with Coach Prawley.
And selecting the red side, it is FlyQuest. In the top lane, Viper. In the jungle, Santorin. In mid lane, Pobelter. In bottom lane, Wild Turtle. In support, JJ. And on stage, coaches Invert and Cop.
Now, after a disappointing slump at the start of the second round robin, FlyQuest seemed to be back to form, especially after getting what felt like the quintessential FlyQuest team comp last week.
Yeah, we've come to know that form pretty well. Good team fighting champions in front of Wild Turtle on Jinx has looked very good. The explosive crit rockets and getting excited has been the way to success. Giving him some space to be aggressive really has worked wonders for them.
And we'll see how that plays out versus 100 Thieves, who are looking to keep their playoff dreams alive versus a team they accrued a lead against the last time they met.
Yeah, that was the game where Someday got a giant lead, but Viper's Riven won a huge team fight that brought them back into the game. 2v1 the back line, basically. In the last couple days, 100 Thieves have created early leads. We saw that last weekend. However, each time they've squandered them later on in the game, so they keep coming up with losses. Specifically here, a lot of the early leads and a lot of this success can be found in the top lane. Someday versus Viper will be very important for determining the first couple of stages.
I mean, Someday's stats are insane. Third, second, first across this board here. The guy's been putting up some incredible numbers here for his team, but as you said, it's not like 100 Thieves is just exploding as soon as they hit the Rift. They've had a lot of really solid early games. It just seems like closing is a real issue for this squad.
Yeah, I think some of the fans are most concerned for some of the calls that they've made in the games. Some of the macro decisions, like the Baron and Elder Dragon trades, tower movements, and kind of lane assignments later on. So we'll see if that does get cleaned up. I do really like their confidence in their Academy mid laner that they've put in here, though.
Yes.
Saligo has been very good. I really liked him in Scouting Grounds on Team Mountain, who's maybe the best player of that Scouting Grounds. And he's definitely shown up very, very quickly here in the LCS. His first weekend was against Bjergsen and Jensen. That's basically the
trial by fire.
1-2 punch there, and he had a very good showing, even in their losses, I think.
Well, 100 Thieves has decided, okay, last time, we remember that Riven play. We don't want that Riven play happening again. They will take the signature Riven pick away from Viper, also banning out the Lissandra here, as Jace and Lucian are the bans away from FlyQuest, wanting to keep Someday off one of those split pushers that can really carry from the top lane.
All right, some of the early bottom lane power as well. Banned away. Let's see if the Draven follows it up. Kalista and Draven are probably the other two early powered marksmen still available here. Wild Turtle and JJ themselves have gotten a lot of 2v2 kills, actually. And it's become one of the kind of sleeper bottom lanes for me. I feel like Turtle, as Double Lift said, has been fairly underrated by a lot of fans recently and a lot of other teams recently. And JJ has really grown into working well with him. And it's not just on the things like the Ornn. Like everyone used to kind of meme on him for just being the Ornn support, look for those long range ultimates, but they have really come together.
And Turtle and JJ, I remember hearing Turtle talk on Ovily's stream at the beginning of the split before everything started, and we were still just in the predictions, how's it all going to shake out, what's spring going to look like type of conversations, and he was talking about how much experience him and JJ had together and how they had time to build up that synergy and how these two were actually a force to be reckoned with in the bottom lane. And it feels like there was some weight behind those words as we're getting into the actual picks here with Thresh and Nico banned away. It's Braum locked in for 100 Thieves as FlyQuest grab themselves the Xayah and the LeBlanc.
Yeah, early LeBlanc pick in here for Pobelter in the mid lane. Very interested to see if Santorin tries to camp towards the mid lane early on, try and take advantage of Saligo. He has only had those 2 LCS stage game matches so far, and Pobelter might be one of the guys, welcome him to what the North American mid laners look like.
Well, Saligo will be on the Zoe this time around, so we'll see what he can do with that champion that has been known to just bring in the artillery barrage of Paddle Stars. in many games across many players in the past. One more pick to go for 100 Thieves before the second round of the bans comes in, and it looks like they will go with the Ezreal here.
Ooh, very strong poke combination here for 100 Thieves locked in. This was all the raids earlier on in the spring split. A lot of teams were running double poke champions, Zoe and Ezreal, two of the most prominent, with the double tier build for Ezreal scaling super well for later, and Zoe being very, very solid lane matchup for most champions. I would say that a LeBlanc plus an early game jungler is so scary for a Zoe though, because even though you can throw out your Sleepy Trouble bubble when you get ganked and try and put one of them to sleep, it's very easy for LeBlanc to close that distance and set up a jungler to try and attack mid lane early.
One reason also worth noting why those poke comps were so prominent and we've seen less of them recently is because Ezreal was so far above most other AD carries because crit items were garbage, so every crit AD carry was sort of forced out. You only really saw the Ezreals and the Lucians, and now that that's not the case anymore, there are actually cases to be made for champions that are not named Ezreal, so he's not exactly cream of the crop, solo alone in his double tier stacking what the hell land.
Yeah, plus a lot of teams have started to shy away from the super late game scaling, and Ezreal does need some extra time in lane before he's going to be able to stack up both of his tiers, acquire a lot of these items to get to that hybrid build. And since it's against a Xayah plus Rakan combo, that could be super dangerous. The speed of the Rakan really goes a long way in looking for those kills on bottom side as well.
All right, commenting on the second part of the bans here, you're seeing jungle, Nocturne, and Elise, champions that we've seen plenty of recently, as Skarner is also banned out. There were some buffs that got put to our favorite Scorpion recently. I wonder who could have helped get those in the game. Hint, it was me. Also, Ryze banned out by 100 Thieves here, not wanting FlyQuest to have that one this time around. It would be in the top lane, so they wanted to keep it away from Viper as FlyQuest locking the Rek'Sai.
Yeah, the Rek'Sai, that's the early game jungler that I'm alluding to with the LeBlanc versus Zoe matchup. Rek'Sai easily can close that distance. It makes it so scary to play this mid lane. You're going to need vision around, plus you're going to need protection to keep that Zoe safe. If Zoe uses R to go for harassment, go for anything, you get self-rooted basically from where you cast it in the first place, and it's easy for a LeBlanc or a Rek'Sai to go back to your point of origin, hit their knockup, hit their chain, and you really have a difficult time getting away from it, even if you're running a cleanse. So we shall see. Santorin, I have to say, has been one of the standout junglers for me. I really think he deserves a lot of praise, and we'll see how he gets some early game power down, because he has a lot of options here with the rest of these matchups. Aatrox on the top side, LeBlanc in mid lane, Zyrakan on bottom side. I feel like FlyQuest just have all the early game doors open.
And remember, we saw the Aatrox versus Vladimir matchup just last game and how hard Aatrox can smash that matchup early on. Vladimir, not exactly the strongest laner up until he gets the cooldowns and the ability levels going. So we'll see how hard Viper can punish someday there in the top side. Both junglers having plenty of early ganking power, not just Santorin working with these lanes that can set him up well, but you've got Sleepy Trouble Bubbles and Winter's Bites for Onda to work with this Jarvan.
Yeah, we definitely, whenever we set up, oh, this one's looking for early game, this one's looking for a late game, like this is one of the clearest examples, because 100 Thieves have a lot of scaling champions on their side and not the strongest early skirmishes available to them. So we shall see if they can weather the storm here from FlyQuest. If you do make a mistake as the early game team there as FlyQuest and you give over money to Bang to fund that double tier build, to get that Ezreal going, or the Zoe to the point where she has the AP to come through with the one-shots, Sleepy Trouble Bubbles start flying around, then it can be very devastating. So I feel like there is a lot of pressure on the early game team to execute in situations like this.
And remember, when you're looking at Ezreal and you're looking at coming online with those double tier items, it's often around 27, 28 minutes that the second one, the Seraph's Embrace, will be fully evolved and the Ezreal truly comes online. So if FlyQuest can build themselves up a nice lead before then, before Ezreal's able to turn into that late game poke machine, they'll be doing all right.
And it's not like FlyQuest are going to fall off a cliff when it gets to late game either, because Xayah does definitely scale quite well. She has self-healing with her ultimate, goes crit build, so they definitely have options later as well. It's just that I think so much more relies on FlyQuest's speed and their initiative in trying to take hold. of the way this game goes.
Going back to what we were talking about earlier with Saligo here in this mid lane on the Zoe, going up against Pobelter now. You already said how last week his introduction to LCS stage play was being up against Bjergsen and Jensen. And
trial by fire, get in there.
Now you're up against Pobelter, who, despite the fact that he's received criticism in the past for his international performances, has always been a real big performer here in the North American LCS, here in domestic play. He's always showed up. He pops off more often than not. And this is a guy that you also are going to have to prove yourself against. Because LeBlanc into Zoe, if you start to fall behind in this matchup, as you already said, especially against something like a Rek'Sai that can really facilitate some heavy early pressure, you could be in a spot where Pobelter can just pop you any chance he gets.
Yep, Pobelter always has been a mid laner that likes to go for assassin plays, likes to go for more aggressive techniques.
Shout out to the guy in the audience with the sign who said he flew 2,000 miles to come here and watch 100 Thieves play. Let's see if they can get the win here for that one. Make the trip worthwhile.
Talk about pressure.
Yeah. Got the big fans in the audience here today, but Afro Moon knocked up into the air. They're going to be losing a lot of HP really quick. They're following that one up, and the feathers fly, and that is FlyQuest grabbing themselves first blood, not even 2 minutes in.
Ay, ay, ay. He flew 2,000 miles to see the first blood before 2 minutes into the game. Oh, man, that always feels so bad when you're walking to lane right through the brush here. He just exited that brush. He had just been in there. That's why he had the confidence to walk right back in. And again, Xayah Rakan, starting with that extra attack speed, you just pop that deadly plumage. Both of them just go nuts with the early advantage there. That thing just overwhelmingly gives this duo early lane power. And when you walk right into them, 2v1, the Ignite instantly goes down. Turtle and JJ off to a great start again. The only thing that Aphromoo and Bang can actually take in solace there is that the kill did go over to JJ. It didn't go over to Wild Turtle, so there are no items in their inventory right now that they've been able to purchase that changes the way that lane goes. It's just going to sting later.
Also worth noting here in the mid lane, both of these mid laners have cleansed this game as opposed to Ignite or something that would add additional kill pressure. You saw Pobelter take Saligo down to about 150 HP there a couple moments ago, but not going to go for anything else after that because of the more defensive summoner spell option. Santorin here in the bottom lane, but is sitting on a ward. So 100 Thieves are aware of the fact that he's down here. They've got Onda hanging out nearby as well to make the counter gank come out. As Santorin goes forward, Bang Essence shifting himself away means he's not in any sort of trouble. Ezreal's pretty slippery to gank, and everybody walks away.
Yeah, good call there from 100 Thieves. They want to try and waste some of Santorin's time, so they didn't give it away that they saw him, but they knew that they had the safety here. And Bang is able to just use Arcane Shift, doesn't have to use any sort of summoner spells.
Viper will farm up here in the top side. You can actually see a very large CS lead for some days Vladimir over the Aatrox. It's quite a different story being told here in the top lane from what we saw just in the last game with the same matchup.
Yeah, this really is. We were so focused on the junglers and their pathing down to the bottom side and how the first blood was before 2 minutes into the game that didn't actually see the way this early lane started out, but props to Someday there on the Vladimir for getting that down. I have to say, Santorin did...
Uh-oh, Turtle and JJ going in for the 2 versus 2 yet again. Bang the one who's going to be taking some damage now. Very low mana here on the Ezreal means he can't do a lot to fight back, and Turtle and JJ just recognizing the fact that they are in control here in this lane. Saligo has Onda waiting nearby, trying to bait Pobelter into going in here, get out the distortion. Pobelter is going to be put to sleep, pops the cleanse there to get himself out of trouble.
Santorin has also joined both junglers now here waiting around. Who's going to bait who? They see the Rek'Sai on a ward. Santorin, they know that he's coming.
100 Thieves know what's going on, but Saligo pops the cleanse to get himself out of really nothing. Santorin going to be taken very low now, knocks him up into the air, barely getting himself away. The root is down. The Sleepy Trouble Bubble's not going to put anybody to sleep just yet, and Honda will run him through with the spear.
Oh man, that bait right there, that is just playing with fire. He was on a nice edge. I don't know if that was completely calculated, if they were talking about that the whole time, but they saw Santorin on this ward on the mini-map that you can see right down here. They pinged it even as he walks over it, so they knew he was coming. And then they just barely, Saligo's able to get out, uses the flash over the wall with maybe 2-digit HP at the end, and even Onda there, as he's left alone to try and pick up the kill, does have to use his flash in the end. So that was a W cleanse, by the way. That wasn't his own cleanse. And
okay, Good point.
Yeah, and that was a still ridiculously close here. And he's going to use his own flash to make sure he hits that Q, finds the kill. Whew.
I always forget with Zoe. I got to make sure that I'm not getting baited by the fake summoner spells.
It's
First
tricky.
I was like, that's a cleanse, and I don't think you were cleansing much. But then he's just popping it to make sure that he gets the passive effect of that.
Yep.
But mid lane, that is a good outplay coming out from 100 Thieves, making sure that they stay even with FlyQuest here in this game as bottom side. Turtle and JJ continuing to just shove their opponents in. But look at the CS score. It's actually Bang who's ahead in terms of the farm down there. Pobelter getting himself exhausted. That was a free summoner that Saligo managed to pick up from one of the minions. So he'll lose out on the trade, but both of these mid laners now level 6. Now we're going to start really getting to see the tricks between these two here, Cody.
Look, we got another balloon minion on the field, Flowers.
Pop the balloon.
What's going to be in that?
What's the prize?
What's in that balloon? Is it going to be a Hex Tech Revolver activation?
At least it's not a teleport anymore.
Definitely not going to be a teleport. That was taken out of the game. Meanwhile, as we're checking back in on topside, Someday continues to have a great hold on this matchup. Doing extremely well as the Vladimir here. Giant CS lead over Viper. And no junglers have gone to the top side, though junglers have showed a lot. Junglers simply showing elsewhere on the map does also influence that.
Yes.
Currently, though, on the Mountain Drake here, let's see if they finish it up.
You can see Santorin wanting to do this, but recognizing the fact that Saligo had priority over the mid lane and was rotating down, he thinks Onda's got to be nearby too, wants to back away from that one. You don't want to give that Mountain Drake over for free with a bonus leash, so he'll just walk on out. As much as FlyQuest wanted it, they don't have the opportunity to secure that just yet. Game is still a slight gold lead here for 100.
Every jungler wants to sneak early dragons, but you don't get everything you want, Captain Powers. Gotta work for it, and this time around, the extra vision does alert them. As you said, that they're gonna get collapsed on, so he just pulls back off, and nobody gives up the objective quite yet. Now positioning, though, especially with a lot of these zombie wards going down, Ghost Poro, everything here in 100 Thieves' favor as far as the vision around this dragon. They've got complete control over the bottom river.
Turtle not level 6 yet here in bottom lane. Bang does have the True Shot Barrage here on the Ezreal. You could see that Onda was hanging around the bottom side, seeing if maybe they could set up some sort of a play before Turtle gets that get out of jail free card with the Feather Storm, but now that Turtle's level 6, that's not an option here anymore. Santorin on the top side, moving towards the enemy jungle. As Pobelter tries to get a little bit aggressive here onto Saligo, just grabbing some minor trade damage as the Battlestar comes in and pushes out the wave. You can see now that Viper has Someday shoved in yet again. That means top lane and mid lane can both rotate over here with Santorin to steal away that blue buff.
Yeah, going to be able to use the lane pressure to push up, take away blue, deny that from Zoe. It's quite big for this matchup, but I have to say, them being successful here on the side of 100 Thieves in that 2v2 mid lane really helps push them towards the mid game where they feel so much safer. Bottom side though, Turtle and JJ still playing aggressively.
Oh, JJ goes in, gets the flash out of Bang, and there go the feathers. The root onto 2 means Bang and Afro are both taking some damage.
Great synergy there between Turtle and JJ. They go in, and Rakan could have been punished after going for that summoner spell from Ezreal, but Turtle instantly activates that root, so he denies a lot of the follow-up damage that Bang had the opportunity to push out. They do dodge out on the ultimate as well, and
they goal posted that perfectly. The two of them just step to the side, let it fly through the middle, and immediately go right back to what they were doing. These guys are looking like a machine here so far. Continuing to shove up now with a CS lead where they were down slightly earlier, but once again, talking about CS, I want to continue to mention the top side here as you are seeing Viper constantly push the wave into Someday, but it's Someday who still has nearly a 20 farm advantage over his opponent. That will shrink a little bit here because he has more minions behind him, but these guys, Someday is just a master in the top lane. Those numbers we showed before the game don't lie. Very high ranked in pretty much every metric. This is the guy who's constantly been putting in the work to secure those early leads for 100 Thieves that they then aren't able to close on later on. So that's what you want to see now is, can he get this lead and then turn it into a backpack that he can put the rest 100 Thieves in and carry them to this big game?
exactly, if Vladimir can be a devastating force later on in teamfights. Giant AoE damage possibilities coming through. A Vladimir going deep into the back line can force a Xayah ultimate by himself. And if that is down, then it kind of disrupts the entire team fight for FlyQuest. Right now, the vision is given over by the flag, but that's just going to give you the Dragon Timer because nobody's going in to contest it. And that will be Mountain Drake for FlyQuest.
Easy take there for the side of FlyQuest as Pobelter does a good job getting himself away from the sleepy trouble bubble with some quick feet, but Saligo getting the redemption drop there from the minions means he can heal up a little bit afterwards and make sure the trade's not that devastating for him here in the mid lane. I really like what we're seeing here from junglers too. Also, always trying to make something happen. Once again, Onda's looking towards that enemy jungle, seeing if there's anything to find, but he won't get much of anything. He did lose his own blue buff, so he'd like to get the enemy one if he could, but that's not going to happen here today. Too much bot lane control from the side of Wild Turtle and JJ, who will continue clearing out some of these control wards and making their opponents think, all right, is Santorin coming down here? Is FlyQuest going to try to set up some kind of a play? You can see the Sheen and the tier already completed over onto Bang as Turtle continues to just work on those first items.
And I think even though Anda is down a camp or two behind Santorin, his focus has been on defending his lanes through vision and tracking. And we talk about how important that was going to be in Champion Select, denying the possible kill combinations of things like Rek'Sai and LeBlanc, where them being seen on a ward prevented a death and even turned around a 2v2 kill for the team. So the focus on vision has been paying off. Anda is really playing the supportive, team-oriented jungler. He's going full tank Jarvan. He's focusing on the vision, trying to keep these riverways clear of Rek'Sai's.
Now Rek'Sai will be heading back to the base now. As you can see, there are some wards placed down by FlyQuest in the enemy jungle, but the big concern right now for the side of 100 Thieves is the fact that this bottom lane turret has nearly been taken down. Turtle and JJ have collected themselves 4 plates worth of money from this. That's 2 bonus kills worth of gold.
Yep, that's what the aggressive play is going to get you, and the possibility of all this kill threat when you draft lanes like this. They've really done a great job too. It's a lot about these skill shots. You mentioned whenever this camera's coming down here, Turtle and JJ, making good trades, making smart choices, and dodging a lot of the possible damage that has come back out.
Belter again, looking for something here in the lane. Saligo thinks that Belter's going to try to walk right behind him, tries to predict it. The Sleepy Trouble Bubble does not make contact, so Saligo just fires it back to his own turret. But he'll keep farming up the minions. Not really in too much trouble here. Only loses about 20% of the HP. Belter always looking for these plays. That's what I want to see from LeBlanc. So the entire champion is just based on jumping on somebody whenever you can, and Belter's always looking to open those windows, make those plays happen. Bottom side, you can see the first items completed for both of them. Essence Reaver on the Xayah, Iceborne Gauntlet on the Ezreal. Means if we do get into some of those bigger team fights, Xayah's going to be critting, and Ezreal will be kiting away. Yeah, as effectively as you would expect.
And in the mid lane, the item builds are all early game oriented. Both of these guys investing heavily into early game items with the double Dark Seals, Corrupting Potions. Here we go though, Jungle Invade does happen, and it cannot finish this one out before the Patience leashes the red buff back to its original position. And FlyQuest, 4 members into the red buff steal here. Will 100 Thieves go for the smite fight?
All right, who's got the smite? Ready to go. JJ looking to find this fight. Goes for the knockoff, able to find 1 kill instantly. Afromu already dead. Onda going to be in some trouble here. Next out comes the ulti coming through from the Rek'Sai. Drowsy now onto JJ, making sure he takes a nap. But it's Belter making sure Onda goes down next. Saligo over the wall with the flash. JJ wants to follow that one up. Immediately gets himself back over the wall. Wild Turtle is going for the 1v1 against Bang. Won't be able to seal the deal, but does get the flash out of the enemy AD carry. Still a 2 for 0 there for FlyQuest.
Yeah, 100 Thieves thought they could go for this contest on the red buff, but they just did not have enough power at this stage in the game. We'll have to take a look at the replay of how Afromu got focused down so quickly. All right, so everybody's pretty spread out here, but Anda's in position for a steal. Afromu, he gets knocked up, rooted up, just completely CC'd from 100 to 0. Rek'Sai with full damage there is able to finish him out. Wild Turtle even getting a shot in. Belter then is able to chase down the last kill there with the LeBlanc mobility. And that is going to be FlyQuest very happy about pushing this game state forward. Once again, they're trying to snowball more of this early money.
Got your loot and Zeko done now for LeBlanc. An additional Fiendish Codex in inventory to make sure that you've got extra AP and CDR. Always feels good. FlyQuest making that invade happen and getting the extra payoff of the kills along with it. You can see how many wards they put down in that part of the jungle of the red buff of 100 Thieves, as Saligo finally gets his Sleepy Trouble Bubble. And that's a nap that it's going to be hard for Belter to wake up from, down to 40% HP just from one of those empowered paddle stars. Next, Drake is spawning here in 3 seconds, so that trade for Saligo, we'll see how valuable it really was.
Yeah, that was a really big burst of damage, and he's not even the one that finished the loot and Zeko. He's still sitting on pieces of items here. Belter, though, also going to look for his attempt at trading back damage. The rest of 100 Thieves come through mid lane. They push up the wave to get mid priority first and then rotate here into the Dragon area, throwing down some wards for the prep.
Both top laners also have teleports, ultimates, and flashes available for this upcoming fight should it break out around the Drake pit. FlyQuest rotating Turtle down into the bottom side to push the wave out, and then you'll likely see them rotate right back up into river.
All right, quick quiz. Who's going to have a bigger impact in this team fight if both top laners get their teleports off?
Vlad, because he's got a stopwatch.
Correct, Captain Flowers. He has a stopwatch and a proto belt and the early magic penetration from Sork Boots ready. The Black Cleaver and the extra cooldown reduction from another Caulfield's Warhammer is very big for Viper, but the Vladimir can have that giant impact on the back line here with the extra stopwatch activation.
Oh!
Whoa!
Pobelt just saying, all right, you want to contest the Drake, you got to do it with 10% HP. It's a death wish now, and that means FlyQuest can easily start the objective up. Saligo's going to remain here in the mid lane just to clear out some waves because 100 Thieves just have to concede it.
All right. Well, we never get to have the second half of that quiz, and by chunking out members of 100 Thieves, FlyQuest were able to earn
was the
them.
second half the answer key where we find out if it was right?
Yeah.
Oh.
They're able to chunk them out, and they are able to get the objective through just health exchange there. That's one of the best ways to be able to secure these early dragons. You don't have to take any risks through the team fights of getting outplayed. Just a large chunk of damage earns you a lot of power there. And that is going to be Ocean Drake Regeneration. That's going to feel super nice if you ever get hit by another one of those paddle stars.
Especially if more Ocean Drakes come up as the game goes on. Against an Ezreal Zoe composition, having a lot of regen feels really, really good. Stops you from getting worn down by the Mystic Shots and the paddle stars.
All right. As we get further into the game as well, and these poke champions start to get more power behind their long-range skills. That is the Zoe and the Ezreal mainly. A lot of it is also going to be on where do FlyQuest find their engage from. The biggest counter to poke compositions is hard engage. Now that's going to be dealt with because there's a Braum, there's a Vladimir, and a Jarvan, all of these designed to create space. But the hard engage comes from the Rek'Sai and the Rakan opening up an area, catching someone and locking them down, allowing this Aatrox to pop World Ender and just create devastation through the battle lines.
FlyQuest grabbing their second turret of the game here topside. As you can see, Turtle taking that one down, bringing FlyQuest up to a 4,000 gold lead. 18 minutes in, really looking strong here, not falling behind early on like we talked about the first time these two teams fought. As Pobelter goes drowsy, hops away twice. Good job there getting out of that one. As he's not going to be collapsed on anytime soon here by the rest of 100 Thieves. They have rotated over as Rift Herald will fall. That one's secured by the side of FlyQuest. Santorin picks up the eyeball, so he'll be ready to go if they want to push down that mid lane tier 1.
I felt that one in the stadium, actually. I feel like they turned up the Dragon, and yeah, the crowd's feeling it too. Like, our stage is actually shaking here for that one. I like it. Epic monster taken. Dun, dun, dun. All right, where is Rift Herald going to be used? Because that is such an important tool for pushing the tempo in the game. We keep talking about how, this early focus is going to have an issue with stalling out. If you ever can't knock down that last outer turret, then it buys a lot of time for the scaling of the Zoe and the Ezreal to come through. For Vladimir here to get some more punch behind the AoE damage.
Taking a look at where the wards are placed, you can still see 100 Thieves mostly controlling their own jungle. A lot of control wards placed down in their upper jungle here as Afro moves moving down through the bottom side, trying to make sure that FlyQuest doesn't push up and control more of the map than 100 Thieves thinks they should at this point. Yes, they're down 4,000 gold, but considering you have champions like Ezreal and like Zoe that can do a lot of damage over the walls and in these small corridors of the jungle, you still don't want to concede that space for free, as FlyQuest is going to do what they can to flex those muscles with the lead that they've built and move up and force these guys out.
And as we are focusing in this game a lot on traditional poke champions, like the Zoe, like the Ezreal, LeBlanc does have a quick and repeatable damage combo that she can pull off from range. It is more dangerous, but we might get a display here as Pobelter going back in for the blue buff.
Ooh, Anda with a good smite though.
Yep, he's able to get it away. I will say that one of the biggest issues in dealing with FlyQuest comp is that there is no point-and-click hard CC that's easily available to lock a LeBlanc down. So if Pobelter on the side here of FlyQuest, who already has 2 kills by the way, continues to rake in the money here in this game, it can also be difficult for the 100 Thieves side to deal with a very quick damage combo that comes through with these distortions.
All right, Shelly Headbutt takes down a tier 1. Pobelter getting the chains off onto Onda. Also want to point out, I really like the second item choice here from Pobelter in the Banshee's Veil on the LeBlanc, making it so when he jumps in to trade onto Saligo's Zoe, he can't be immediately bubbled as a response. Makes her have to hit him with something else beforehand, and it's going to help him in the team fights when he jumps in as well.
Yeah, not only do 100 Thieves have to hit Pobelter with a skill shot, they have to hit him with 2 consecutive skill shots to be able to lock him down since the Banshee's Veil has been purchased. So it's definitely buying yourself some extra chances there. Do like that opportunity. With the Rift Herald activation, as we're expecting, the last outer turret goes down, and that is big for FlyQuest once again. Now is the crunch time where they have to try and move up their wards. Dragon's about to spawn, and it is an Infernal Drake. So we're going to see some fight.
I really like Infernal Drake when you've got a champion like LeBlanc whose entire identity is 100 to 0 because it increases the threshold from which you can 100 to 0. Makes it so a loss might be a win if you have just that little extra bit of damage. And FlyQuest surely want to control this one with the gold lead that they've built for themselves.
All right, very big to look at the wards here in the river because that allows Zoe and Ezreal to throw out these skill shots from afar, go fishing for very high value skills landing, and you can see FlyQuest, their #1 objective here is taking down those wards and replacing them with their own. A bunch of zombie wards popping up. Infernal Drake is leashed out. Viper still bottom side. He's not coming up, so I don't think they're going to commit to it.
True Shot Barrage fired off, so that's an ultimate that will not be available here for this team fight as long as it's started up fast enough. Pobelter dodging away from quite a few things. Does get hit by the Paddle Star, though, walking back and forth through that brush between the river and the mid lane.
Here comes Viper. He has rotated from the bottom lane. This might be it. FlyQuest now.
Pobelter nearly killing Aphromoo there, taking him down to 25%. That should be the green light here for FlyQuest.
Again, it is so difficult to deal with the mobility of a LeBlanc if you don't have point-and-click CC. Pobelter here with the spell shield can go in, chunk down Aphromoo to 20% HP, and earn another objective fairly effortlessly for FlyQuest. Poke champions come in different shapes and sizes, Captain Flower.
Yeah, all sorts of different ones showing up here on Summoner's Rift, as we also have all sorts of different Drakes for the side of FlyQuest. The Garage Sale of Infernal, Ocean, and Mountain, all active now for these guys, but all 3 of those are really good bonuses to have. And remember, ever since Drake's got changed to have the first one be weighted more heavily, a Garage Sale is better than when it used to be.
Variety is the spice of life.
It's a bougie Garage Sale now. Okay. Buying some fancy antiques.
Well, Wild Turtle's pretty happy with his antiques that he's been able to combine here so far. Has the extra stopwatch, your favorite item, Captain Flowers. So that means that not only do they have to track him down, pop the Xayah ultimate, but he's going to have another stasis to go through.
Yeah.
And Xayah actually operates very effectively earlier than most crit marksmen, I feel like, because she does get a large benefit from the early Essence Reaver. Cooldown reduction goes a long way with this champion. And so we'll have to see if 100 Thieves are going to be able to take their stand and make one of these important incisions into the FlyQuest territory.
And now that FlyQuest have built themselves up this 5,000 gold lead, they've got 3 Drakes under the belt, they've controlled the game up to this point. I'm starting to look towards Baron now, because we're 24 minutes into the game. It seems like FlyQuest is struggling to push into the tier 2s, and one way that you can sort of stop that stall from happening is just go for the Baron.
Goodness.
Force them to come after you, as Saligo is nearly killed by Pobelter.
Yeah, Pobelter here, unchained, just continues to go in for these very, very big trades. This time around, only a few HP left on that Zoe. And look at that, calm and cool.
They're so good at sidestepping these this game. That's 3 different players on FlyQuest who have casually just took one step to the side of the Ezreal ultimate. You know, made it look easy.
Pobelter sees another target. So one thing that I would say in why FlyQuest are not starting up the Baron, even though they have all this vision around it, is that they have absolutely no tank. Their only semi-tanky member is the Aatrox Viper, and Viper is the one trying to keep the split push pressure down on bottom side. Rek'Sai is definitely not a tank pretty much at any stage in the game, nor is Rakan. So it's more about FlyQuest trying to find these little pokes, offensive plays. The speed, again, is what they're relying on. Rakan flashes from Rek'Sai, and of course the LeBlanc that has been on display.
Yeah, Chad Rek'Sai build with Warrior into Black Cleaver. The only tank item you have, air quotes, for those of y'all that can't see me because you're at home, is the stopwatch that prevents you from dying instantly when you go in, so he'll have that, but definitely not somebody you want to be eating a lot of poke there, as Viper will just barely manage to steal away that big Krug before his opponent moves in to swoop everything up there with the Tides of Blood. Viper is level 16, so has the final level on the World Ender. Low enough cooldown on that one now, as Sunday working towards a level 16 of his own.
Now, it is a lot more difficult to push forward the state of the game when you have a comp like this, where you don't have anything that can really tank up Baron that easily, even with an Ocean Drake on their side, giving them regeneration. However, I think they still do have some very good options. Aatrox is level 16 now. You can threaten dives very effectively, and you have a lot of mobility and, again, the speed to try and pull off moves like this, even under turrets, and continue to chip away at those defenses.
Tier 2 taken down by about a third of the HP here in top side. Pobelter continuing that pressure. JJ, it's funny, the supports only level 9 and level 10 in this game, but solo laners are starting to hit level 16.
Big.
Two-shot barrage, finding its way onto Wild Turtle, who's going to be in some trouble now. Goes into the Featherstorm, keeping himself alive, but he goes to sleep. Stasis isn't going to do it, buddy. It's only buying a couple of seconds. Shut down over to Saligo.
Oh my goodness, goes to sleep up there in the ultimate. That is ridiculous. Pobelter buys some tower damage here with that time that everybody from 100 Thieves went mid to get the kill. With that kill and with all the pressure that's being put out, though, there's not a huge response that's coming through. 28 seconds left on Wild Turtle, and 100 Thieves have to be so careful about not overextending after this big kill. Now, they go through there. Again, the sleep was already on Turtle, but he falls asleep there. He flashes and then stopwatches afterwards, but of course there's nowhere for him to go after that. So,
unfortunately, it's a waste of flash and stopwatch at that point.
Again, though, one of the benefits of being a high-pressure 3 lanes pushing this late into the game is that you could see there was no option for a big punishment for 100 Thieves there. Even though they got a kill on the enemy marksman, the AD carry, one of the most important champions on the enemy team, they cannot make a super risky play rushing out because they have so many minion waves to push back out and kind of attend to. Oh, here we go.
Honda's going in real hard, but he's all alone. Tries to find some damage down to Wild Turtle. Someday going to be rooted up there by the second part of the chain, but now they've started off the fight in a big way. They're going to immediately pop Someday. Honda into the back, buying some time, but the stasis isn't going to do a whole lot of anything. Pobelter keeping everybody else away. And Honda makes a crucial error, going in way too early without the team.
Something there was not communicated for 100 Thieves. They were not on the same page. Disjointed engage means FlyQuest are able to get the re-engage with Rakan finding the Vladimir kill right out of his pool. This Baron's now at 3,000 HP and it's going down.
Saligo trying to make the plays happen, but it is not going to be here today. And yes, Kobe, I want to applaud JJ. A round of applause for this man. He recognizes as soon as that pool is ending and before Someday is able to pop the stasis on the hourglass, he charms him, knocks him up into the air, and makes this fight go the way of flight.
Yeah, here's another look. Anda does go in. He wants to engage on Wild Turtle, who he knows has nothing left for defensive options, but there's no damage behind him there. JJ goes in after Someday got chunked out in a bad spot and had to use the pool. JJ uses that Rakan speed that we've been hyping up the whole game to find himself with the ultimate on, so you get instant charmed as soon as you come out of the pool. He just kind of has to sit on top of the pool, and they're able to pick up the extra kill. That means with Baron buff, that's your best friend for ending out the game. Meanwhile, bottom side, Pobelter.
Pobelter could be in some trouble here. Still very slippery on the LeBlanc, so not enough lockdown on the side of Apromu and Someday to actually grab any sort of a kill, as Pobelter's now feeling good, jumping forward, jumping out of the way of the money bag, and giving him a sigil on the way out. But FlyQuest now up 8,000 gold, now pushing all 3 lanes. Baron buff ready to go. Viper's going to 2-hit that turret, and situation has gone from bad to worse here for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, a Baron buff just completely steamrolls for the rest of the push here. 1, 2, 3, all those secondary turrets quickly picked up by FlyQuest. Gold lead now ballooning, and they can return to this possible strategy of threatening a dive with Aatrox ultimate with this.
Oh, they're able to find some damage! damage, and there goes the kill. It's Someday cashing in, getting some revenge onto JJ.
All right, that's going to do it. That will buy 100 Thieves time. That's exactly what they needed to try and stall out the rest of this Baron. There's a minute and 37 seconds left on this Baron buff, but without JJ, down one champion here for FlyQuest, 100 Thieves are going to be so happy. This Baron doesn't mean they lose an inhibitor.
And bang, it was a little bit slow, but he just got his second tier item fully completed. That second one fully stacked at about 30 minutes and 30 seconds. So the Ezreal is now fully online, and you mentioned at the beginning here, when we first started the introduction of this game, that when people have been criticizing the way 100 Thieves have been doing things this split, it's been a lot of the decision-making, the calls coming out from this team in the mid and late game, and that call made in the mid lane by Onda to start that team fight that gave FlyQuest the Baron was honestly very tragic this time around, because FlyQuest are now in a spot where it looked like 100 Thieves might have been able to stall, but FlyQuest have broken open the base with the remainder of this Baron buff.
Yeah, even without JJ returning yet, he was still walking from the fountain. FlyQuest just keep pressure up with the Baron buff in all three lanes, and eventually somebody misses a rotation. They can't clear out the minions, and Turtle takes mid inhibitor.
Viper continuing to pressure here in the top side. Turtle looking for the last couple of shots onto that inhibitor. It is down. Inhibitor turret down in the bottom side as well. 100 Thieves will try to hang on for dear life, but FlyQuest looks like an avalanche at this point. Very difficult to do anything here to the squad. Turtle having to pop the ulti there on the Xayah. At least that's not available any longer. 100 Thieves could see that as the opportunity to maybe go in here. Both summoner spells also available on Turtle, making it hard to complete that dive, complete that all in. Saligo firing off some paddle stars, not getting the damage he's looking for just yet. Pobelter jumping in here yet again. Viper taking down the blue inhibitor there at the top side. One more inhibitor to go. Pobelter says no, sir. And that is all inhibitors down in the 100 Thieves base. This is a terribly hard position to come back from. It's 2 super minions in every lane. It's 10,000 gold down. It's 4 elemental drakes in the enemy's pocket.
Sounds like you're setting up an epic battle here, Captain Flowers. Everything against them. It's an action film. What will they do? Backs against the walls. No inhibitors to their name. That's 10,000 gold. They've got to pull it out. Do they have it left in them?
I don't know if this is going to be the summer blockbuster you're hoping for, buddy, because this is looking real scary for the side of 100 Thieves. You've got a minute 45 on Baron, a minute 30 before the Infernal Drake. We'll see if FlyQuest wants to play this slow and steady, take those neutral objectives before pushing for the win. They still have plenty of time left before the inhibitors respawn, so they can totally wait this out and not worry about it. As 100 Thieves has to just think, how do we stop this from happening game after game? Because, again, I want to go back to the fact that it looked like they were stalling things out. FlyQuest couldn't break the tier 2 lines. Yes, they were chipping away, but the progress had been slowed down enough that the double tier Ezreal and the Vlad could have got to the point where it looked like team fights were doable. And in that one fight in mid lane, you always go back and you watch a game and you say, where did things fall apart? Where did this game break? And it's that initiation in the mid lane by the Jarvan when no one else is around. And these are the kind of errors that are sort of defining 100 Thieves right now that this team is going to need to fix to get out of situations like this in the future, because FlyQuest is bearing down.
They don't have much time left. Double super minions from all lanes are coming to attack the Nexus turrets. FlyQuest have them surrounded.
FlyQuest pushing in. Super minions in all 3 lanes. Nexus turrets under fire. When can you even go in for the side of 100 Thieves? Vlad's got that empowered Q ready to go. Pops that one off. Continuing to channel the tides of blood, trying to get rid of these minions. FlyQuest isn't even having to hit the turrets themselves. The super minions are doing all the work. 100 Thieves will repel the attack for now. Pobelter manages to make sure that final Nexus turret goes down. And now only one structure stands for the side of 100 Thieves. Saligo takes a little bit of damage there, returns something back onto Santorin. Pobelter continues jumping in back and forth whenever he can. Infernal Chain's not going to do a whole lot just yet, but JJ's going in, looking to find the taunt onto multiple people. They're already able to find the killing spree down onto Someday. Onda's going into the back line, but he's already going to be taken down by Wild Turtle. FlyQuest onto the Nexus, and they will waste no more time. It's a double kill over to Turtle. They'll pad their stats on the way out, and they'll take down 100 Thieves.
FlyQuest improved to 8-7. 4th place for this team, looking very solidly inside the playoff race. And I am excited to see what they will do in playoffs.
FlyQuest had that part where they were in a little bit of a slump halfway through the split, but again, they played a lot of the best teams in the league during that slump, and now that they're out of that, they've got back into form a little bit, they're back on these team comps that look very FlyQuesty, they're looking solid.
Seems like a very easy team to root for as well. A lot of likable players on their team that haven't had their own spotlight before. You know, putting together a lot of kind of these second string players together. But I have to say, they've been so underrated. Turtle and JJ as a bottom lane have been extremely strong. Santorin and Pobelter both. And Viper as well as one of the younger guys on the stage making his debut into the LCS. They've really impressed on all fronts.
And again, I just want to applaud JJ this game. Him and Wild Turtle getting that first blood in the bottom lane before 2 minutes even ticks on the clock. Him being the one responsible for making sure Someday explodes in that mid lane team fight that ultimately gets them the Baron and continues accelerating the game. JJ popped off.
He definitely did. I feel like that duo having pressure, was it a 4 or 5 turret plates they were able to mine themselves?
It was a whole dinner's worth of plates, man. There was a lot of plates going the way of FlyQuest. But now that the dust is settled, we're going to go ahead and send things down to an interview with Riv, who's standing by with a member from victorious FlyQuest.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Great cast on the day. As always, I am joined by Pobelter, FlyQuest mid laner after taking down 100 Thieves. Playoffs still very much in sight. I have to ask, what is the team doing? What steps are you taking to ensure top performance here in the final weeks?
We're just playing scrims, kind of the same thing. Yeah, I don't know, we're just scrimming.
All right. You kind of seem to be flexing a bit of Wild Turtle's positioning in his AD carries. Is this kind of like the trump card? Are there any secret picks we should see coming out? Not that you have to name them.
Yeah, we've prepared some really strong picks in the event that we make it to playoffs, and so yeah, get ready for some crazy stuff.
Fantastic. 2 of your final 3 games consist of the top 2 teams, beginning with Team Liquid tomorrow. How is FlyQuest feeling about that matchup?
We're gonna smash Friel.
Ooh, all right, you heard it here. Smash Friel coming from Pobelter. FlyQuest taking the win over 100 Thieves, and we're gonna send it back to State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, Riv. Great interviews on the day, and we have FlyQuest picking up a win here, moving on to 8-7, 2 behind TSM, 2 ahead of CLG, and the rest of the team's at 5th. And honestly, it felt like they took care of business here. Far better team. 100 Thieves still look kind of hopeless, unfortunately, and the hopelessness started early.
Well, we can go easy on them now. I think it's safe to say they're probably not going to make it to playoffs.
They're probably the 10th place
likely,
team.
Yeah, so
yeah,
they're free to go. We'll keep the rest for the rest.
Yeah, I mean, FlyQuest, I think, played a pretty clean game. They picked fairly strong laning matchups and then were able to take advantage of that relatively early on. And then because 100 Thieves sometimes struggles to get things going, whenever you don't have any lane advantages, you kind of just slowly lose the game. And this was a relatively slow game.
You know, I hope that tomorrow Pobelter actually does smash Team Liquid. Not because I have anything against Team Liquid, but it'd be cool. And the Team Liquid really has nothing to lose anymore. They got their guaranteed first place already. So go Pobelter. I'm rooting for you tomorrow.
They could lose their pride, though. There's no way they'd not.
Yes, but then you realize you're, what, 14-2 or something like that? Are you really that sad? I'm probably not sad.
I'd be pretty sad.
I'd be pretty sad.
Former teammate, right?
I'm the one who just wants to win every game. So like 17-1, I wanted 18-0 for them.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like if you're TL, you do look for the 17-1 overall play. Either way, let's pull out a couple of clips from this game. It got out of hand pretty quickly, but this is one of the team fights near the mid game.
And this is, oh, sorry, you take it.
Oh, so at this point, the Rek'Sai, the LeBlanc, the AD carry on Wild Turtle are on an item power spike, so they're very
Everyone
strong.
here, all 4 members are stronger.
Yeah, and so it's super easy for FlyQuest to take this engage, not only because they're more coordinated by being grouped up and focusing the same target right away, but you can see that bang on the bottom side. Look at how much damage his Qs have been doing. That barely touches Turtle. That's like the 7th Q he's hit in this fight, and look at how healthy they still are. It's just one of those moments where you're 100 Thieves and you have to say, it's their buff. Let's try to get something else out of it. Just abandon the area, and you just have to get your warding early enough so you can recognize the invade happening, that they want to use a power spec. You go to another side of the map, you take something else, and nothing happens, but you still keep yourself in the game.
It's one of those things with a PO comp where like you can theoretically win most standoffs if you land your poke. The problem was both Onda and Afro got a little too close, and that was a really obvious trigger for JJ to just go. But the idea with Zoe and Ezreal when they're contesting your red buff is like sit over walls, kind of poke at them. Jarvan throws flag for vision. Taking the blast cone over was just a little bit over aggressive, and FlyQuest punished it well.
Right, and I mean, at that point, they don't have any items, so they're not really doing damage if they hit their poke. Like, you saw like Ezreal Q's hitting, even with the Zoe Qs, they're not really doing damage yet. They need a bit more time for that.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because 100 Thieves have felt like in so many of the games they felt hopeless. They would just sort of sit there and let themselves get killed, or like let their Nexus die and no one fought for it. So like, okay, well, we're gonna fight for the red buff this time. We're going to step up. Ooh, wrong kind of step up. Didn't work out well. So either way, want to spend some more time talking about FlyQuest because they are the team that won here. There was discussions. Are they the third best team, fourth best, fifth best? They do have tough opponents in front of them. Top 2 teams in the league as well as Golden Guardians who seem playoff bound as well. What's it look like for you guys? How's FlyQuest going to do in this last 3?
It's tough, but this is like, I actually think not a terrible way to end the season. Like, you have a chance to get a lot of confidence going into playoffs. Like, realistically, you're going to go most likely into quarterfinals with this team. You are favored most likely in those quarterfinals, but if you can take a win off C9 or TL, you gain a lot of confidence come semifinals and be like, hey, we did this before.
Right, or on the flip side, you lose to all 3 teams, and then you're just going into playoffs.
I'm the optimist.
You could be depressed entering it, so that may be not ideal.
And if they do lose all 3, Golden Guardians, CLG, and Optic must all go at least 2-1. All 3 teams must pass FlyQuest for them to lose their playoff spot. So 3 teams who are doing moderately well must go 2-1 alongside the 0-3. If FlyQuest win 1 game, those 3 teams all have to 3-0. So it seems likely FlyQuest make the move.
I've gone 0-3 before when I only needed 1 win to get past the thing. Don't be too confident yet. Learn from our mistakes.
I think you
guys.
lost 4 when you only
Don't
did
bring
1
up that
win.
last game. That was a tilter of a game. If you saw our comp, you could definitely tell we were tilted. Let's not bring up the history.
Okay, we won't.
specifically.
History no longer relevant for high here. If you look at the standings, we see that Cloud9's loss does put TSM in range of picking up and sealing away that playoff bye. Counter Logic Gaming, Golden Guardians, and Optic all sit at 6 and 9, just 2 back from FlyQuest. One of these teams will not make playoffs, maybe more of them. Of course, no teams are yet currently eliminated from playoffs, but with 3 to play, 100 Thieves must make up at least 2 and probably more. Let's take a look at how predictions went for the day, and it was a little rough, unless you're Mark Z, in which case you got a lot of these right.
On the bright side, I did say my last one's gonna be a bit fun, so I could let Mark catch up.
Hey,
now we're all tied. We're almost at the stat spot. Now we work together to beat the stat spot.
1 behind.
What is stat spot even at? I haven't seen stat.
Right here.
1 behind, it's in the middle. Stat
Oh.
spot
It's
it's a
50-25.
clean 2-to-1 ratio.
Right. He's 1 game over us.
I feel like we need to tie stat spot tomorrow. So week 9, we're all tied up, and it's like the final
10 to
week.
play.
Who's gonna do it?
I'm just glad mine are not there, so you guys will never know what my stats were.
That's the meta. Join the middle of the split so no one's tracking you.
Always correct.
We're going 0-75 for you, Crumbs. You miss every shot you don't take, I think is how that works. So
What if you didn't exist before the shots?
you still missed them. That's how it works. That's the quote. Now, when we return tomorrow, Golden Guardians and Clutch Gaming duke it out for game number 1, followed by Cloud9 versus Optic Gaming shortly after, or depending how long the game goes, maybe a long time after. Team Liquid and FlyQuest will face off over in game 4, and as we know, we're still facing for playoff positions. Clutch can make the way up. C9 got upset earlier on. 100 Thieves versus Echo Fox. It's one of the games you feel like they maybe should have won or should be able to win as they hope to scrape back up.
Right. I'm looking forward to tomorrow because that's where our weekly wagers coming back in. I have a feeling I know what game it is already since we don't know ahead of time before our predictions. And should I say which one I think it is?
Yeah, go for it. I don't know which one it is. Yeah,
Give us
My
your
money
thoughts.
is whoever's running the script is going to be that 3rd game. They're going to make the weekly wager on 100 Thieves and Echo Fox.
you know, it's like that scene from the Matrix.
That's an easy one.
It's like the scene from the Matrix.
That's an easy one.
No
Echo
way,
Fox.
dude. You
Echo
can't toss 100 Thieves under the bus.
Yeah,
I
but
will.
But everyone's just
was
beat
him.
Cloud9. Like at a certain point, maybe you believe in them.
But the thing is, it's like, you know, by saying it out loud now, did you change the future and it's now going to be a different game? Because
One of those.
Or
Yeah.
it was going to be something else, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah. Ty's idea was smart.
Or not.
Mind games.
Crumbs doesn't think so. He thinks it's an easy
I
guess.
think easy.
Echo Fox.
Easy. Commit. 100% Echo Fox.
yeah.
You heard it here. That's what they said.
Yeah.
Liquid versus FlyQuest. That's going to be the one. After we sign off, the LEC rebroadcast gets going with their final day of their regular season. They play a week before us, where their playoff seeding came down to tiebreaker games. See how the day played out when we say goodbye. Now, for myself, the casters, the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for more LCS. Good night.